With Marcus Freeman and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish coming off of a huge win against the Texas A&M Aggies in College Station. Coach Freeman received a call from his college coach, former Ohio State Buckeye coach Jim Tressel, reminding him not to snooze, to stay focused. How would Marcus Freeman and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish take it when welcoming in the Northern Illinois Huskies? Find out next on Talk Like a Champion. Welcome back, Irish Nation. Thank you so much for being with us. It's been a rough couple of days, to say the least. But now that we've had a couple of days to get ourselves together, let us once again go through this pain and heartache. And I know what a lot of you guys are going to say is, why would you open with that knowing what the outcome was? Well, guys, we have to go through it and try to live and learn from it. As you guys know by now, we've had a couple of days to digest and put ourselves in check. Maybe give ourselves have us a little humble pie. Because apparently, either we were overconfident or we badly underestimated Northern Illinois. Bruh. 16-14 was the final. Not the way of the boys in blue, but the way of the guys wearing the... First thing I want to do is I want to tip my hat to Coach Thomas Hammock of Northern Illinois. Now, a lot of people are going to say, why would you tip your hat to him? Listen, he had these guys coming here and they were ready to play. There was no joking around. He said this was a business trip coming to South Bend. He wasn't joking around. And guys, I'm going to say it like, the hardest thing to do is to take away from Northern Illinois. But it was also a game that we know that you have to play fully. You can't come in thinking that the opposing side is going to say, hey, they're number 5 in the country. Let's let them have a route. Let's give them a route. They came out and they wanted to win this game. Now, I want to start with, I've heard so many individuals on the radio, on podcasts, YouTube shows, and so on and so forth, talking about the defense. First of all, let's get this out of the way. The defense of Notre Dame has been undersized for the longest time. And Northern Illinois had a combined over 110 starts. This is the O-line for Northern Illinois. Normally, this is Notre Dame. And guys, there are a lot of you that are going to not understand what I'm about to tell you. But as badly as we were outgained on the ground, 190 to 123, 16-14. Listen, we can sit here and we can throw shade at the defense. We can even throw shade at Al Golden. I won't. Because unlike a lot of these analysts, they want to sit here and say, oh, well, Northern Illinois held the ball for 10 minutes. And all they gave up was 16 points, despite the fact that Riley Leonard gave the ball away twice. We could sit here and we can have our opinions on like X is Y and Z and so on and so forth. The fact of the matter is, Riley Leonard and this offense did not get it done. And the problem we've had is just like when we recruited this kid coming out of Duke. I've said it once and I'll say it again. You cannot make a scrambling quarterback into a throwing one. The fact is, on that 2nd and 1, perfect play call, receiver beat his man by 10 yards. If that ball's thrown to the goal line, that's 6 and game over. Game over. That is 6, game over. And honestly, guys, I'm going to say it in this sense. We've seen it with the last couple of coordinators. I'm going to go ahead, and I don't want to say this, but we may have to look. But I'm going to break this down into a couple of ways. But I want to go through the stats as we look at our statistics for the game. Leonard was 20 of 32, 163 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Ethan Hampton, a guy who came off of a 350-plus passing game the week before, he had 198, only 1 score. But Atario Brown had 99 yards on the ground, just 1 short of 100, and he was very good in the receiving game. Had an 83-yarder that ultimately was the difference in the game. It was one where the defense, I don't want to say fell asleep, but generally Notre Dame's defense is much more thorough. But we have seen this defense have mental lapses at times or be overly aggressive, and it works against them. This happened to be one of those times. But I think Notre Dame came in here with the initial impression that Northern Illinois was going to run the ball throw the ball all over the field. Because even when I brought up this game, I felt like, and the stats proved it, Ethan Hampton was going to be the guy. I mean, total change of strategy. However, our DBs looked okay. They didn't look great. But as I said, 10 for 198. And they, outside of that 83-yarder, you take that away and they've barely got 115 yards receiving. So, I mean, you gotta look at it and you gotta say, how can we blame the defense? You win games when you only give up 16 points. This is the second time this has happened in Marcus Freeman's era. And this is where Marcus Freeman's got to say, this has got to change. Now, I believe wholeheartedly that Marcus Freeman is actually part of the issue here. What? I am going to go out there and say it. Because you've had too many top-notch superstar potential wide receivers transfer. We've got some really talented receivers here, but unfortunately, we don't have the gunslinger that we need in order to make this work. I'm in full belief that we have to make this work. We're going to have to throw the ball down the field. I'm directing this towards you, Coach Freeman. I respect you. You have got Notre Dame recruiting where it hasn't been in a long time. But you have to follow up with national championships or at least top 4 playoff appearances. You cannot keep ending up losing games like this. Games where I heard so many analysts and so many podcasters say they wanted to get a look at some other players. Getting a look at guys like Angeli, Kenny Minchie, and CJ Carr. Let the battle begin. But we cannot do that if we're not putting away who's in front of us. We have to put away the teams in front of us. It's imperative. Now, the running game, it was back and forth. I mean, you had some good runs. Jeremiah Love had a 34-yarder. Jadarian Price only had 4 carries. Leonard had 11 for 16. A lot of them were just bad reads. And you're talking about 28 carries, 123 yards, and 34 of them came on that one run that Jeremiah Love had. Leonard threw the ball 33 times. That's not a good recipe. We're doing the same boring stuff that we've been doing. We're not matching up well on offense. We're not moving guys. We're not putting guys in motion. And we for darn sure are not running play action. We're not misdirecting defenses. And when you have a young offensive line, that is the best way to slow a pass rush. If you can slow a pass rush, if you can slow the pass rush, keep these ends looking. What it does, it buys you enough space, buys you enough time to get your running back possibly down the field and possibly give your quarterback that extra second he needs to get those speedy wideouts that you have down the field. You are not supposed to lose battles with next level players. However, Thomas Hammock had his guys ready. These guys were all seniors just about it. Most of this team, seniors. This is not a young team. And we came out there with a bunch of young guys on the offensive side, and we got our butts whipped. Defensively, same thing. We've been really light up on that defensive front, and it showed Saturday. It looked a lot like when we played Syracuse's defense last season. Now, I'm going to get ready to wrap up because this is where Marcus Freeman's got to say, look, Riley, if you can't make the deep throws and you can't make the reads, we're going to have to use you sparingly. If Notre Dame is ever going to win a national championship, they have to be able to get the ball downfield. They got to be able to get it downfield. So with that being said, you guys, Northern Illinois 16, Notre Dame 14. I will be bringing you guys a show ASAP as the Irish will travel to Purdue to face off against the Boilermakers in a rivalry that's been absent for quite a few years, but we're going to open that back up now. But guys, make sure you go down into the comments and let me know that you subscribed. Okay? I'm not getting my notifications on any of my channels, but make sure you put your name down there so you can be in the drawings for something special when we reach our sub goal. Also, go to our Facebook page, add the show so you can get into interesting little topics as well as polls that we may put up. But until we meet again, may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun rise warm upon your face. May the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.